Do you notice in our young people a connection with the Eucharist? Do you see a good bright light there for the future? Sometimes we see some of these polls and statistics that say that there's a lot of people maybe that are unsure about belief in the Eucharist, or some that do not believe what our church tells us is true.
Yeah.
What do you see in our young people? What do you notice in them?
I think there's a lot of curiosity. And I think also being young myself, that might be perceived by other people that are older as like not a good thing, but it's very good to be curious and be hungry about knowing stuff. But even in having doubts of our faith, because there's so many things, that might come up in our lives. You're like, oh, I don't know if I believe that. It's okay to kind of wrestle with that, because you're being young. You have your whole life ahead of you. There's so much that you still don't know. There's so much I don't know. I'm so very much wandering, but seeking also. And they're all seeking something, seeking either the love or acceptance, or belonging or community. And a lot of the places that have these youth programs, they kind of have that, and they really lean into that. But they have that curiosity of what that could look like for them a few years down the line, maybe in high school or once they get to college. But I would say they're hungry. They're hungry to know. And even the ones that I get the chance to serve with, they want to do things right. They're they don't want to mess up. And eventually, they'll get to a place where they will mess up less. Because I can't say I don't mess up. I mess up all the time. But people don't notice. But yeah, the ones that I serve with, they're super hungry to know more of the role of the priesthood or of a lector. Just know more of the specifics of the Mass. But I would say our young people they're hungry, they're very curious, and that's a very good thing.
I would say I've also noticed that desire, and one thing that I always have kept with me from my years serving on campus is I do really feel that our young people have kind of a desire for the concrete. We experience a world where, it seems like there's a lot of gray out there with any given issue or discussion. But I have experienced in our young people a yearning for concrete. And I do feel like that's one of the great gifts that we have in our Catholic faith, that we really do have concrete teachings. We have concrete moral teachings. We have a very, very direct teaching that we believe that Jesus really is there, that the bread and the wine become the body and blood of Jesus. And so I've seen, I think, some great responses to that. I've seen some tremendous faith, especially in some of our young professionals. It's been amazing to work with some of them. And I remember back, it was right before the time of the shutdown we had, the COVID shutdown. And I still remember one of our young professionals, he's a great guy, mid-20s, married with a growing family. But he called and he said, I've heard that we're not going to be able to have Mass for a while. Is that true? And I said, yes, starting tomorrow, that's going to be the case. And he said, could we have one more Mass before that starts? And just listening to that expression of faith, he's just a great guy. He's a working guy, just, a very good, normal guy, but has that desire for Jesus in the Eucharist. And I said, yes. It was about 4:00, and I said, what do you think about 5? And so I went over to the church. I got everything set up. I looked out the sacristy door to see about 100 people there. That just within that hour, he had gathered together all of his family, his friends, so that they could receive the Eucharist. Just an amazing, amazing moment of faith.